Hello Lash Lovelies, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tiffany and today's video is all about tweezers. They're a lot like jeans and I'm going to go over why that is right now. Thanks for watching my video. In a nutshell, tweezers are unique for each person. Kind of like jeans, you got to try on a lot before you find the ones that work for you. So please don't get discouraged. If you've got any questions, you can put them in the comment section below or you can email me. Find me on Instagram also and hit subscribe. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about tweezers. So on this example here, we have a very small example actually of all the tweezers that are on the market. I just happen to pull the ones out I have. I don't keep a lot of random tweezers around actually. I was going to borrow some from another person, but we are we're in quarantine now because of the COVID-19 virus, and that's just not an option, and I wanted to get this video out really soon. So I'm going to give you some ideas just based on what I have, and I hope it helps you out. If you have questions, you can always ask. So I'm going to give you kind of an overview of what I look for when I buy my tweezers. So we'll start over here. These are for making fans, and these are isolation. So the fan making tweezers, I used to think were the only super important one, but really isolation is very important as well. You can tell that I really like the L-shaped tweezer. I would say another really popular shape is the boot, and that is very similar to these L, except that it's got like a rounded base. I would recommend buying some and trying them. In fact, I'm hoping to master the pinch method soon, and I know that most people that pinch use that method, so I would say go for it and try it. There's a few things that really impact your selection, and that is going to be the angle, so the way you hold your tweezers and the angle of the tweezer, and the tension of the tweezer, so the pinch and how hard you have to squeeze it, that's going to impact it. How you grab, if you're a really tight squeezer or a loose squeezer, some of them more delicate, I think they call them a swan shape. If you squeeze too hard, it actually will, it's like if this is the foot of it, it will actually kind of open at the tip, and that's why I can't use those, because I grab too tight. I have pretty big hands and strong hands from working with horses, so my hands just kind of grab the tweezer pretty hard. So I'm going to go through these three tweezers. I would say are my three favorite. I wish I could use this one. I can't, and I'm going to show you why. Everything about this tweezer is fantastic. It has a really awesome base. It holds a big fan. It doesn't really have like a sweet spot that's in one place. It's like the whole foot. Shape, the angle, perfect. I love it. What happens with this particular brand is that you can see how wide it is compared to, say, this one. And I'm not pinching them, but I don't know if you can see the distance. There's a big difference between, or pretty good size difference between the two widths. This one requires a bit more force to hold together. This one does not require so much. So even though we're just talking about like holding tweezers over a period of time, for me, when I squeeze these, my hand becomes fatigued within 15 or 20 minutes. I actually can't continue using it. I was really frustrated because I wanted to have them as backup, but I'd end up not being able to use them. So unfortunately, I would say try them. This is a brand I would say you should definitely look at. If you like that L shape, this is a great one. If you can't read that, it's KC Pro Lash Supply Company. I like them. KC Pro Lash Supply.com. The brand, this is a great brand too. This is Lash Anarchist. They have a little bit more tension. I know she has a silver pair that's not dipped in the paint like this, and it has we were in a class we were taking, she said it has a little bit less of that tension as well, and I think it's just the paint in there kind of makes it harder to squeeze. I don't know, but they're not as they don't fatigue my hand. They're actually a really great tweezer as well, and she makes a nice boot shape as well. But I would say my hands down favorite is, and oh, by the way, this is Lash Anarchist, and I think you call it an L curve. This is Lash Maker, and this is the model is 117. This is the one I would say I use like all the time and love it to pieces. That's my fave. This is a Borboleta one. Actually, I've never used, I think I tried this a couple times. This requires quite a bit of squeezing, and that was kind of hard for me. So that one didn't work. But again, try it, especially if you're a Borboleta person. Like, you should try their tweezers. Like, they're pretty great. Okay, let's talk a little bit about isolation tweezers now. What impacts me the most with isolation tweezers is the angle from there to there. Okay, if the tweezer has too strong of a curve, I can't use it, or angle if it's too much. So for many years I used this. This is a very inexpensive Vetus tweezer that I love. The angle works great. It's under, I think it's like $11 some places. I think you can find it for like $6 some places, but it's not a bad one. What I started to find that it's just short. I have big hands. It's a bit short. So I was actually on the hunt for more isolation tweezers, and a friend found these. These are have the exact same angle, but they're really long handled, and I like that. I don't need a lot of length here, obviously, but so these are shorter. They're just a really great isolation tweezer, and these are by Lash Baby Portland. If that's not the right angle for you, this isolation tweezer is almost identical, except that it has more. Let me show you, because I knew that I screwed up the last video not holding these down. The angle is much stronger there than it is here. That makes a difference. It makes it really hard for me to use. I don't use them at all, unfortunately, but I wanted to like them, but the angle is just not right. So then there's these, and I honestly don't even know where these came from, but I just wanted to show you. I think you can use them for isolation. I almost wonder if you could use them for grabbing a fan, because they do seem to have they catch all the way down, but they're by Vetus. Okay, so I want to go through, this isn't just your standard straight tweezer, and there's two reasons I like straight tweezers, and there's something stuck on that. One of the reasons I like them is to peel the strip of lashes out of the tray. I really like using straight tweezers for that. I don't know, that's probably the majority of the use I have for it. The other is I'm right-handed, and the inner right corner is my biggest struggle. This actually really helps if you're having a tough time getting that inner corner, and you've taped the lid over and everything, and your angled isolation tweezers are frustrating. Try the straight tweezers. They made a big difference for me. So that's what I use those for, and I always keep them handy. This is one, I actually don't know where these came from. I don't remember buying them. They're by Eye Level Lab. I don't know where they came from. I don't know. Sometimes you find stuff. So I believe I might have gotten these on Amazon. I don't know. Anyway, this is clearly too much of an angle for me. It's almost like it's a fan for making fans. You know, I have used it, but not for isolation. I've made little tiny, like 5, 6, 7 millimeter fans for the inner corners, and they're tough to reach to apply the fan. This is good for that because it's so tiny and you can just get into that little small space. This is a really good tweezer to have on hand for that frustrating situation. It's always nice to just have a collection of tweezers to kind of play around with anyway until you find what works for you. But with that said, I want to talk a little bit about how when you're purchasing the tweezers, there are companies that have a style of fan making that requires a specific tweezer. So yeah, you're going to have to buy that tweezer if you're going to do that method of fan making. The other thing is some companies test and some companies don't test. I personally believe that so far my best results have been from companies that test first. That doesn't mean companies don't have great great fans out there that are untested. But if you're going to go that route, please make sure you know what the return policy is. Tweezers are not cheap, and I do encourage you to try a lot of them, but if you're spending $40 to $50 a pop, or $35 a pop on just your tweezers and you're buying several pairs to find the one that works best for you, then you do want to know that you can return them. And then, you know, and even let's say you, like, I love this brand and I have several pairs, but if I get one that's wonky for whatever reason, I know I can return it because I guess there's a grace period and stuff. So make sure you know that before you purchase them. If you do the lonely fan method, I would say stick with the L shape. That's what I do. And I have a video on how to do that, that lonely fan method. Some people, I think, call it rolling, lash rolling, because you kind of roll the little lashes out. If you are a pincher, I would stick with the boot, which again, I don't have an example of, and I am sorry. I will be purchasing some boots so I can practice making the pinch method, because I feel like all the people that pinch use that use the boot, and I want to kind of master that. Anyway, that is kind of in a nutshell what I have out there. There are a lot like jeans. You know, sometimes you buy a style of jeans and you put them on and you love them, and then you go that one time, you're like, I'm going to grab another pair, and you bring them home and they're a little different. That is totally how it is with tweezers. So you can't get upset. You have to understand that these are handmade and they're not a machine, and so there's going to be some variation, but because they're handmade, people do know what to look for and what other people want. So, you know, get out there and explore. Don't be afraid to try them. And yeah, happy lashing, and